I have seen the dark universe yawning, where the black planets roll without aim, where they roll in their horror unheeded, without knowledge or luster or name. I have seen beyond the bounds of infinity and drawn down daemons from the stars. I have harnessed the shadows that stride from world to world to sow death and madness afar.
Before his disappearance, the warlock Thulzar posed a question to the greatest scholars and philosophers of his day. Why do some stars hate the world? None could answer the question, because the stars and their spawn have remained quiescent about what motivates their loathing. But warlocks and sages alike know that when one looks up at the stars, some stars glare back with hunger. With the aid of powerful looking glasses, some few warlocks have dared to search the deepest parts of the sky for the answer to Thulzar's question. Those that have retained their sanity, who have seen the place where the far realm meets the oblivion of space, have seen dark, sinister creatures stirring. Forgotten by the gods and the primordials, these malevolent creatures wait for something. They watch as the wandering star known as Alabar, opener of the way, glides patiently across the sky, inciting its fellow stars to war. And when a star hangs in the correct position in the sky, and its light strikes the world at precisely the right angle, Starspawn walk the world. But what are Starspawn? Where do they really come from? And what, if anything, do they want? I am William Stark, and this is D&D Legends and Lore. Before we venture further into the madness of today's episode, I want to extend a shout out to an awesome creator, storyteller, and friend of the show, Sean, the Unhumble Bard. If you're into actual play content, go check out his channel. Sean's not just running Dungeons & Dragons, he's diving into a variety of TTRPGs like Daggerheart, Pirate Borg, Castles and Crusades, and more. If you're a fan of immersive, well-crafted tabletop adventures, this is a channel you won't want to miss. You can find the Unhumble Bard on YouTube. So go check it out, and if you like it, subscribe and help Sean grow his community and keep the dice rolling. Without further ado, let's get back to the show. The Far Realm, also called the Outside, is a plane or perhaps a space beyond the planes that is terrifyingly remote from standard planar geometry. The history of the Far Realm is one of controversy and question. This troubled discourse about its nature is well suited to the Far Realm, which exists as something fundamentally alien to any easy categorization in any cosmology. It is literally the Far Realm because it lies outside and beyond the cosmology that encompasses the worlds of mortals, primordials, and deities alike. The Far Realm is beyond the already difficult to comprehend multiverse. It is outside creation, existing in the theoretical realm of timeless infinity. The entities that abide in the Far Realm itself are too alien for a normal mind to accept without strain. Titanic creatures swim through nothingness there, and unspeakable things whisper awful truths to those who dare listen. For mortals, knowledge of the Far Realm is a struggle of the mind to overcome the boundaries of matter, space, and sanity. Every mortal or immortal who has attempted to comprehend the full truth of the Far Realm eventually concludes that endeavor with a shattered mind at best. At worst, such people are subsumed and corrupted, becoming monsters themselves. The few semi-coherent babblings of those who have perceived the Far Realm describe it as a solid mass of translucent layers. The stacked layers are pierced with free-floating bone-white rivers and seepages of blue slime that dissolve all they touch. Elsewhere, gelatinous worms wend through the folds using writhing cilia and lichen-like incrustations. No air or atmosphere exists in the Far Realm. It is one immeasurable, semi-solid amoebic sea. Vast shapes drift at the edge of sight through the realm's substance, blurrily reminiscent of creatures from the deepest sea trenches of the mortal world. Many of the blurry forms are as large as cities, and those are the small ones. Thankfully, this realm of madness only rarely touches the rational world. The Far Realm is not normally a place one can visit, and its terrible, insane influences are infrequent in the world. When these rare intrusions do occur, though, the warping pressure of the far realm transmutes previously inert substances. This blending of realities results in horrifying corruptions, disruptions, and sometimes even the birth of squiggling aberrant monstrosities. And there are no places in the cosmos more often touched and perverted by the far realm's influence than the farthest reaches of the dark night sky, where the stars shine with malevolent light. Distant stars glimmer in the reaches of the cosmos, portending the advent of sinister creatures, the culmination of dark conspiracies, and the occurrence of catastrophes. In the world, a green star flares brightly in the night, watched only by cloistered scholars and mad warlocks. With the sound of 1,000 screams, a rift tears through the fabric of reality, releasing an aberrant monstrosity into the world. It surveys its surroundings and spots the glimmer of lantern light from a nearby farm. The creature then creeps forward, advancing on its target. A silent war has persisted between the stars and the world for millennia. Sometimes called the Forgotten War, owing to the subtlety of the conflict compared to the Dawn War, this battle is more significant than most believe. The baleful stars of the night sky are accursed celestial objects twisted by the touch of the far realm, and they gaze upon the world with a mixture of hatred, anger, and hunger. Thus, they send their spawn. Starspawn are the star soldiers in this battle, and through these creatures' influence in the world, the stars seek to unravel civilization, and ultimately, life itself. Starspawn come in all shapes and sizes. Most bear some semblance of humanoid features, but these are often twisted in horrifying, logic-defying ways. They are utterly malevolent beings bereft of compassion or sanity. The stars are their only masters. Although nihilistic cultists offer frenzied petitions to Starspawn, the creatures follow their own ambitions. Warped by proximity to the far realm, the creatures have a purpose incomprehensible to even the most unbalanced humanoids. Regardless, one can be sure that the appearance of a Starspawn is a harbinger of terrible things to come. Avatars of the stars, Starspawn serve as heralds, servants, and soldiers sent to wreak havoc upon the material plane. Some say that they arrive most often in the wake of a comet, or perhaps this phenomenon merely signals that Starspawn are in the vicinity and available for communication. Others claim that when the signs are right, cultists gather together, read aloud their blasphemous texts, and conduct the mind-searing rituals that guide Starspawn into the world. And still other mad writings report that Starspawn are known to appear before great tribulations and at the convergence of unparalleled levels of power. During great wars, battles between divine beings, and the preparation of mighty rituals, the spawn appear across the land. Some stars have only one type of spawn, while others manifest a multitude of creatures. The spawn of a particular star appears only once a year at most, but sometimes the spawn becomes trapped in the world and continues its depredations until slain. Sometimes cults form around a singular star spawn. When this happens, some star spawns simply devour their worshippers, while others tolerate their presence and use them as allies. Mad, power-hungry warlocks flock to Starspawn. Whether they serve, study, or slay them depends on a particular warlock's goals and attitudes. There are as many types of Starspawn as there are stars in the sky, but some types are more common than others. The wretched Starspawn Gru, fanged and lipless, the ever-grinning, eerily staring Gru lopes about on spindly legs and long arms. Bristles and spines project from odd patches in its gray skin, and its long fingers end in broken and dirty nails. Gru are the weakest of the Starspawn. A host of writhing, scrambling Grus typically accompanies the more powerful of their kin. Their constant chittering and shrieking produce discordant psychic energies that disrupt thought patterns in other creatures, which experience flashing colors, hallucinations, disorientation, and waves of hopelessness. The Starspawn Hulk is one of the largest of the known Starspawn, with glistening translucent skin. Pale and seemingly lidless eyes glare balefully from a face distorted by too many teeth and too little nose. Hulks are seldom encountered without a commanding Starspawn seer nearby. A Hulk appears to have little will of its own, and it's driven to protect its master. The Starspawn Mangler is a low-slung creeping horror with multiple gangly arms. It most often has 6 arms, but can have any number from 4 to 8. Manglers creep along the grounds or the walls, sticking to shadows and hiding in spots that seem too shallow or well lit to conceal anything. They appear smaller than their true size, thanks to their hunched posture and emaciated frames. These creatures serve as guards and assassins, 2 roles in which they excel. The Starspawn larva mage is a nightmarish combination of a mortal body and otherworldly substance. When a powerful cultist, usually a warlock or spellcaster, contacts the comet-born emissary of the far realm, the emissary can merge with the mortal consciousness to create a larva mage. None of the original cultist personality survives the transformation. What emerges is wholly alien. A mass of writhing worms or insectile vermin that shares a single consciousness and takes on the facsimile of humanoid shape. Finally, there's the Starspawn seer, most often encountered as the leader of a cult dedicated to one or more stars, great old ones, or elder evils. Usually, the seer is the only cult member that grasps the full extent of the horror the cult is venerating. The seer's goal is to tap into the vast energy sources and perform the dire rites that will extend a bridge between the material plane and the squirming chaos of the far realm. An entity that appears as a Starspawn seer in the material plane usually arrives disembodied. When a warlock or other spellcaster establishes communication with it, the seer entity takes control of the mortal, transforming it into a Starspawn seer. Whoever the mortal once was largely vanishes beneath the mass of tumorous skin that builds up in strange whorls all over the seer's body. The mortal's hands become bulky, flipper-like appendages, able to grasp the seer's strange staff, formed from a blend of flesh, bone, and star stuff. But what of the stars themselves? What do we know about these eldritch bodies of light that seemingly send their scions of hatred into the world? Of all the baleful stars in the night sky, none are as intriguing in nature as the star called Alabar, a wandering object known as the Opener of the Way. This strange celestial body courses across the sky, causing the spawn of any stars it nears to manifest upon the world. Some believe that Alabar is a trickster star that merely spreads havoc between the world and its kin. Others claim that Alabar itself is the greatest of the stars, a strange being from beyond the world, manipulating the other stars to its own end. What end that could be, and the role played by the Starspawn, none as yet can guess. But before his disappearance, the warlock Thulzar claimed that he had successfully charted the incursions of all Starspawn since the days of ancient empire. His research showed an emerging pattern, but he, his tower, and all his work simply vanished one starless night, leaving behind only a smooth glass-coated crater. As it wanders the sky, Alabar seeks to fulfill a dire vision of the cosmos. Some stars are not confined to stationary positions, bound to watch distant worlds and exert minimal influence. Alabar is one such star, and it has used its mobility to generate strife between the creatures of the stars and those of the world. In the early days of creation, the primordials created Alabar as a planet like the mortal world. The gods noticed the primordials' new creation and experimented upon it, attempting to create a thinking, living planet. The gods managed to ignite a spark of life within the planet, but they feared the power that their creation possessed. Thus, they cast away the planet Alabar into the Far Realm. In the Far Realm, Alabar was warped in body and mind, so when it returned to the cosmos millennia later, it came full of cunning and malevolence. In the intervening years, Alabar has instigated the stars' hatred of the world. It has used its power to help create Starspawn and transport them into the world to sow chaos. Its ultimate goal might be nothing short of the world's destruction. Or it might plot something more sinister, perhaps to transform the world into a perverted semblance of life, much like itself. Another star that has come to the attention of scholars and warlocks is Kyphon, the Dream Whisperer, said to be the eldest of all stars. Kyphon shines a deep purple light as it lurks on the horizon and watches the world day and night. With each passing year, it bides its time, providing guidance to those who open themselves up to it. As times grow hard and a community is beset by famine, plague, or oppression, Kaifon grows bright, as if to remind the people of its reassuring presence. When prayers to the gods fail, people offer whispered pleas to the star for help, and Kaifon listens. When their calls grow loud enough, Kaifon sends one of its emissaries. A stranger might arrive in the town one day, offering hints for how the people might end their suffering. The stranger subtly suggests that because the lord of the town hasn't been affected by the plague yet, perhaps he has the cure. Soon those who whispered pleas to Kaifon lie strewn across a vacant battlefield or at the walls of a fortress, victims of a desperate revolt they staged at the suggestion of a stranger. These Starspawn, these emissaries of Kaifon, are difficult to recognize due to their ability to magically disguise themselves as humanoids while they work to bring down the downfall of all those around them. An emissary of Kaifon operates covertly within a society, studying its inhabitants and learning their weaknesses. Thus, when one is confronted, the creature already knows a good deal about its adversaries. An emissary might jeer during combat to incite its foes to be reckless, and it may have even gathered allies that are resistant to the types of attacks its enemies make. The last star I will speak about goes by the name of Gith. Gith is a cursed green star said to have at its core an utterly unknowable being. Warlocks and other arcane users say that the thing within the star that is Gith shall show its face only at the end of the world, when the very glare of its eyes and the monstrous aspect of its being pushes all of creation into inescapable madness. Gith has a particular spawn it sends into the world, simply known as the Scion of Gith. This spawn is a terrible shard of that green star, a herald of Gith's curse, and a forerunner of what might come. When the Scion appears, no two observers can agree on its actual appearance. Some see a green-skinned horned giant, while others report a red spider-like creature with a child's face, or a serpentine monstrosity with dozens of gibbering mouths along its body. Sages maintain that this outer appearance is merely an aspect projected by the shard that dwells within the Scion. The mental strain of seeing even a shadow of Gith's essence is such that mortal minds must conjure knowable, though strange, images to contain it. It is said that anyone who sees the Scion's true form is doomed to madness. So the next time you find yourself out on a moonless night, look up and take a moment to study the limitless abysses and the bright points of enigmatic light that hang between them. And as the cold wind blows and chills you to the bone, remember that as you stare up at the stars just might be staring back. This has been D&D Legends and Lore. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like and comment below. I would be particularly interested in hearing suggestions for future topics for the show. And if you would like to see more narrative-driven, zoomed-in perspectives on stories that D&D's decades of lore have to offer, make sure to subscribe. You can also find us on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else podcasts can be found. Links will be in the description. Lastly, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can gain access to early, ad-free episodes as well as live play and homebrew D&D content. With that, I will say thank you for listening and happy adventuring.